Welcome to Belonging Songs. It's your podcast that brings you, the listener, a brand new original song with each episode, and then we talk about the theme of that song and the processes that go into writing and recording it, sometimes the revisions we make along the way. I'm your host, Wade Dana. With me today, down in the studio, my good friends, Chad Kelton.
Hey.
Bradley Maurer.
Hi.
And Patrick Crane.
Not down in the studio.
Patrick's joining us via Zoom. Actually, we're joining him via Zoom because he set up the link. So thank you very much.
You dang Skippy.
Because I have the free account that cuts you off after a few minutes. You know, maybe you should agree to that.
That'd probably be best if I had that one, yeah.
All right. So, what are we doing today? You guys...
we don't know, I think, is what we concluded before we started recording.
Yeah.
What's the plan? I don't know.
Macaroni and cheese.
Maybe not.
Patrick's going to eat mac and cheese later. Actually, I ate a whole box of mac and cheese earlier today, Patrick. So, technically, I'm part of your mac and cheese party.
Oh, shit.
You're invited. You're always invited.
You do the Velveeta, you do the shells.
I don't
know.
Whatever.
Shanna's buying that Amy stuff that's like
rice.
Made with rice and
No, this is whatever came from
oats.
Aldi. It's pretty good.
It's oat cheese.
Yeah.
It tastes just like cheese, I promise.
Mm-hmm. Melts and everything.
Yeah.
Scummy bunches of
It's
oats.
a melt-like process.
Anywho.
It's tasty. Anyway, yeah, so today we have a little different format of an episode. So, longtime listeners will recall that I am often telling Brad when he has a song that he kind of just wants to give up on, that maybe you should just see it through because maybe somebody will end up liking that song.
Mm-hmm.
And last season, I had mentioned I had this group of 3 songs that I have done exactly that to. I've not listened to them in at least 5 years. It's going to let them die. So I'm here to take my medicine and see if these songs are worth anything. And that's going to be up to you guys. This is open season for you guys. These can be shot down. Nobody will ever hear them again other than this episode. What we're going to do is we're going to start with one. We'll talk about it. If it's worth pursuing, I will do my best to work on it and finish it up. These now at one point, these were finished songs. These are songs I did for school as like a final project.
Have I heard any of these?
I don't know. I know Brad has because he's actually on some of them.
Yep.
I don't have lyrics for you guys because honestly, the lyrics are probably all getting scrapped because this was a case of me being forced to write 3 songs worth of lyrics in a week for school. And they're horrible. I mean, I was telling Brad one of the songs was called "Things Are Things." Like it's like
pretty good.
Shittiest.
Things are things, man.
Yeah, it's so terrible. And this whole process of writing these songs really took me out of my element. I had to listen to the professor who acted as the producer for all the songs. So if he was like, "Cut this, do that," I had to. And I really hate how they ended up. Or at least I remember hating them. Like I said, I haven't listened to them so long.
Thanks a lot, Professor Rick Rubin.
Yeah, he actually was the producer. He produced Radiohead's like big album with Creep on it.
Pablo Honey.
Yeah, I forget his name, but he did that and a bunch of other stuff. But it's not how I like to write songs. And it's really weird when you're going to school for music. Writing songs the way I've always written them, like nobody considers music songs. Like if you come with like a whole song of just music, like an instrumental, they're like, well, this is an arrangement. This isn't a song. The song's the lyrics to everybody, which pisses me off because come on, it's a song, you know, if it's just instrumental, it's still a song.
Tell that to Beethoven.
Yeah.
And it was a bit discouraging that a lot of creativity, I think, is tamped out just to get like all the assignments done and verse, chorus format, but whatever. It's neither here nor there. Anyway, I got these 3 songs, and this is how it's going to go. We could end up listening to 3 songs that all get shot down, and that's the episode, and that's cool. Then they're done. We know they're dead.
Turds.
You know, yeah, could be. Or if we listen to the first one, you guys are like, well, there's some things here we could use, and I don't know. Like I said, I haven't listened to these. Could be done. You guys could be like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. This is good. Let's put it out.
But
maybe
if we
remix it.
If we like the first one, we don't listen to the other 2.
Well, right.
There's that fear of missing out there. I mean,
those will be other episodes.
Oh.
So the next episode,
we
we start one of these.
So we can fake not like
Wait,
the
take
first
your
2.
headphones off for a second. We need to have a little huddle here.
Are you for real?
We're gonna like the first one, right, guys?
But like I said, the lyrics probably are going to get scrapped because I'm pretty sure they're garbage. But there might be a theme or two or a line here or there that's worth exploring.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to leave it up to Patrick on which one of these we're going to listen to because I've got them all imported here, and nobody knows what they are.
I think we're probably gonna end up listening to them.
I feel a medley coming on.
Yeah, me too.
Let's pick
like part one of the first one, second.
Let's go with Things Are Things.
Oh,
things.
I mean, if
All
it's
right, let me pull this over.
things are things are things.
Yeah, so already the title's bullshit.
I mean,
and
they're pretty good.
are-
I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Just call it things.
Things doing things.
It is called Thing.
With your silver fucking hair.
Now, this one I can tell you that there is part of the theme that I think may be worth exploring, maybe not in this particular
Do not
arrangement.
taint our opinion.
But,
We'll
Yeah,
let you know.
don't fuck it up for us.
So, Patrick, do you have this pulled up?
I got it.
And I'm not looking forward to anybody hearing these, but
Too late. too late.
I'm here to eat my own words. So,
All right,
here we go.
little bowl of crow.
There we go.
Nope.
I don't care anymore.
Slowly time has the patience to kill. It never stops, and it never will. How does this really make me feel? Does it make me sick? Can it make me well? The sun is good at warming because it is supposed to be. But what am I supposed to be? But what am I? Talents measured naturally, and only real things. Like I could be the best at freezing and breathing. Rain brings flowers to trees and destroys our cities. But what am I supposed to be? What am I? Things reveal others are real. Stars explode elementally. Light travels across centuries. Thoughts are haunting existentially. Electric bioenergy. Temptation slides fortuity. Grand gestures, micro-liberty. Love requires no lack of empathy. Some desires consume integrity. Things reveal others are real. Greed becomes fueled by industry. Nature survives ingenuity. Seasons destroy each other. Bodies they die from hunger. Are we just thoughts wrapped up, encumbered? Or does one exist without the other?
That went different than I thought.
Tell us why.
I think there's something there. It's definitely a Rush job. You get that in just the lyrics and the production, but I think it's got this really awesome new wave just vibe. I really like the bass.
Yeah, I
bass
actually wrote down that I
is
like the
groovy.
bass line.
Yeah, that was the first thing I wrote was
Nice
bass,
job, me.
2 exclamation marks. Yeah.
Kudos to you, Deuce.
There's a lot of parts where I think the synth needs to become guitar,
Okay.
like lead guitar, especially with the solo stuff,
Mhm.
and then just let the synth do some background work. The lyrics need work. I think there's like cool themes in here, but it's just like felt like a list of themes
Right.
that weren't fully parsed out.
Let me say this. I think the main theme of this that I really like the idea of, that I would like to build on if this is something I should pursue. I actually don't mind the music in this. I think there's some cool stuff in there. But the idea of talent, like somebody is really good at baseball, like naturally.
Thanks.
But that's not a
No.
natural thing. That's something we've created. So the idea of being good at things should really only boil down to like, I'm good at freezing or breathing, which is a line in here, you know? I remember thinking about that. That I think was trying to build off of that, and I think I ultimately failed. But
Shower Thoughts with Wade. We're going to change the name of this song to Shower Thoughts.
right, yeah, basically that's what this song is. But I think there's thematically maybe some stuff to pull out of here.
You do something. Let me try talking again. You do something cool at like the 2:34 mark where you get a little Bowie, but I can tell you're self-aware in your lyrics. Like you really pull it back.
Yeah, just the performance is
No
not strong.
energy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
Tell
low
like
energy.
you were doing it because you had to do it.
My ears were like, oh, he's going to do something very Ziggy Stardust here. And then it just falls flat. So if you can commit to that, like it's the perfect spot in the song for it to start to escalate,
Mhm.
to start to change. But I don't know, Wade. I think you're a little bit full of shit. I think there's a lot in this song to work with.
Okay, so you think I should turn this into a better song?
Ultimately, all your songs should be turned into better songs.
Well, this song was written before we started this podcast. And let's be frank, we've become way better songwriters because of this podcast.
Yeah.
And my performance and recording chops have gotten so much better. And we've visited songs from the past before, and they've turned out pretty good. So, like I said, I hadn't listened to this in so long. I think I can build off this now and make something I think that I would actually like.
I remember you had all this music
Mhm.
mostly done. You didn't have this studio yet. We were upstairs
Mhm.
in the spare room when you were doing it in there. And it was when we were kind of just getting together on Fridays, kind of in between doing stuff again.
Oh, you're on at least one of the other songs.
yeah,
that were-
but I remember this. I remember this one specifically because you
Mhm.
and I went through, I think, a couple of like the earlier like vocal lines I had sung at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we went back and forth. Like they just are really familiar to me where I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I think I sang those. And then Wade went through and you re-sang the whole vocal line.
Maybe you helped me write them.
I think
don't
I
know.
might have helped you write some of them,
Yeah,
but I'm not taking credit for this shit.
right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think
Wash
we did.
my hands of this
I
garbage.
think we did like collaborate on it to try to get you done.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think you were stuck, and I was like, oh, we'll come just work on these. We used to sit down all the time and just pull shit up. right?
Yeah,
And I
so
think-
Yeah.
when Brad came
Brad
over
just
this,
wrote the good parts.
no, not even. But I remember like working on it to
I didn't
try
hear
to get
any
it somewhere.
instrumentation that you had done on there.
No, I think
whereas,
it was more melody.
Yeah, so when Brad walked in today before we started recording, I was trying to find these songs because I had worked all day and didn't have time to get the session ready, and I was digging through old hard drives to try and find them. And I didn't want to listen to them because I wanted to have the same experience as you guys. Because, like, if they were a lot better than I remembered them, I wanted to feel that and
Yeah.
or like experience that with you guys, I guess, if that's weird. I don't know. But I did have to like listen a little bit because I had to bounce them down. Anyway, I went into the sessions and there was no bounce folders, which is super weird. So I don't know how I bounced them out of the sessions in the first place.
You were
But I
trying
had
new
to.
shit. You were going to school.
Yeah, and one of them, one of the sessions was actually called "Name of the Song," and then it said "New Strategy," and I have no idea what that meant at the time. But as I just played it real quick to make sure it worked, I did hear you on one of those songs, Brad, playing guitar, and there's drums on that. So
I did those.
Is
I
it
think
you?
we
It's
did
either
those
you
in
or
the living
Chris.
room, too.
Yeah, I think in the living room. I
Yeah.
remember those.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, so this was so long
This
ago
was
that all of
actually-
us have forgotten about
Yeah,
it.
but I remember this being like, remember we did like Familiar Things
Okay, yeah,
right
that's
around this
that same
time, right? It was kind of like right in that zone of time where we did like probably 6 songs, probably a few more floating somewhere that we did.
So if I'm going to redo this, I think it might be worth revisiting the drums with a better recording setup because they didn't sound great there. Clearly, the lyrics need to get scrapped. Take some of these themes and play with that, maybe build it out like Patrick said. Patrick fell asleep.
I think you kind of got to strip it down a little bit. And
new strategy.
New strategy.
That's what I gotta build up.
Pull in what you like and build on what you like and sort of restructure it. But I think there's, like Patrick said, there's a lot of potential there.
Baseline, probably, like Patrick said. I had that note. I thought that was cool. That might be like the jumping off point. Those synths kind of, that spacey stuff's cool. And then that dun 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 baseline. And then maybe go from there. If you guys think I should.
I think it's worth another look.
Okay.
Next.
Chad, any additional
do we not do next?
Well, I think Chad's got some notes here.
But is this it?
Yeah, we're going to jump to the future, so I'm going to work on this one. It's going to be the episode for this song.
Right. We got to wait on these other ones?
These other ones, we'll have to start new episodes on. We didn't get to
these
them.
other ones fucking
See, that was up to you guys. If you would have shot this down,
good thing
we would have moved on.
Good thing we all agreed ahead of time.
I hope Chad's thoughts are just to trash it.
I see you have Steely Dan scribbled down.
It can come. Steely Dan just kicked my head with a synth. Just a warmer guitar.
I would like to see Steely Dan with Wild Stallions, though.
Just fucking hell of a tour.
Almost Steely Dan-ish.
Just kinda... It was like kind of Steely Dan-ish. Yeah.
Well, Patrick said
if it was a
wave.
little warmer. Yeah. If there was like a telly on it or something.
Do you think I should lean into that then? There's a telly over there.
Well,
you said more guitars, but what do you envision as far as?
So I don't think for me. Actually, I want to hear Chad finish his thoughts.
Yeah,
first.
Chad. So telly, like you're talking like clean.
Yes,
real
kind
clean,
of a clean, really warm,
chords.
but a strummy. And then on top of that, maybe just kind of like a little more flowy, almost like a solo or lead.
Lots of reverb on the vocals.
Yeah, just behind it on over top, all working together, but making it thick during the verses. The verses kind of bottomed out for me a little bit. They seem a little soft. But you're going to redo those anyway, vocal wise. Yeah. And I think that if you restructure and hit some of those accents a little different and keep it more in with the music than hitting off beats and stuff like that, I think it'll pull itself together and sound completely different.
That's going to be the fun thing if I move forward on this. This was a throwaway anyway, so I'm probably going to get pretty experimental and just like do whatever.
Yeah, I would. I totally would. I would like to see you keep the heart of a new wave song just in composition because that bass line works so perfectly for that. There were a couple synth parts that were single notes. I'm like, ooh, I would really like to hear that on a chorused guitar.
Okay.
And yeah, just kind of like you said, leaning into that.
If you have any tracks in mind, send them my way. Like reference stuff. Like I was listening to this and kind of fits that vibe. Okay. That'd be interesting just to get an idea of where your head's at or like a place that I could take this because I'm open for anything on these. And if anybody wants to get on it, like Chad, if you got ideas for playing.
Have you heard the album No Jacket Required by Phil Collins?
Studio.
I'll check it out.
You should check it out. He's a little underground. It's a little tough to find.
Yeah, I could throw some gated reverb on some drums here and a lot of reverb on the vocals.
I'd probably just like to redo them.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll just sound a lot better. There was some cool tom work going on in there.
Yeah, some of it lagged behind a little bit.
But after I get into it and rearranging, maybe give this some more energy, maybe that'll help define it better when you jump in.
The bass line.
Let's
stick with that as a core and really try to
build on that.
On that.
Tail end of this kind of falls apart for me.
Yeah.
A little bit. Gets real kind
of
not sloppy, just kind of I fell out of it.
Where's it going?
Fell out of it for a minute. So you definitely just need some arrangement and some building. This was another one of those where I think we did this a lot back then where we had like some parts.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of put the parts together and then it was over. And we're like, song.
Yeah.
We got to 4 minutes. It's over.
Right. That almost makes it nice for a rewrite though, because it's a sketch. It's a sketch of a lot of ideas that I think you can pull from, improve upon, and
give it a little more structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna work on this. So
Boom.
We're going to jump to the
Write
future.
Some lyrics about living in California, man.
I'll probably write some lyrics about living on the edge.
Yeah. And medicine that's bad.
Or in your fridge.
This medicine's bad. It's not what I need.
No, he's talking about your love. Is like.
I did take some bad medicine. This is the last time I threw up.
Bad medicine.
I had like the flu and I couldn't sleep. And I just kept coughing and I wanted to sleep really bad. And it was like 3 a.m. So I took some old NyQuil. I didn't realize it was so old. And I got real messed up.
You're a little robo tripping?
Oh, man. And I didn't sleep. I got real messed up. And it was real not cool. So I was sleeping in the spare bedroom down here because, diseased.
Yeah.
I couldn't be upstairs in the bed. And it was like 3:30 in the morning or whatever. I don't know what time it was. But I just started hearing this screaming outside. Like this lady screaming. Like she was getting murdered. And I jumped out of bed. And I'm like tripping hardcore on flu and NyQuil. And I threw on my clothes. And I ran out into the street. In the middle of the street.
Like Ebenezer Scrooge discovering he loves Christmas?
And this lady, it was the woman across the street, and she was screaming.
She was screaming,
help, help.
Yeah.
So I ran out there, and I'm like, what can I do to help, And she was like, who is that? I was like, it's Wade. And she's like, there's a bat in my house. I was like, oh, thank God. I thought you were dying.
And then there was a hook on the rear view mirror.
Tell them Large Marge sent you. So then I proceeded to go into her house, try to catch a bat while tripping out on old NyQuil. And I threw up that night too. And I haven't thrown up since, I couldn't even tell you the last time. It's been probably 20 years. I threw up, actually, we mentioned macaroni and cheese. I threw up a bunch of macaroni and cheese.
Man,
super gross.
Have fun tonight.
That's good.
So on that note, yeah. On that note, we're going to jump to the future. I'm going to work on this song.
Cool.
And we'll see you when we come back. Set course.
To the future!
Okay, welcome back, BSers. We're here to hopefully finish up this redo of a song. Me and the guys, I got Brad and Patrick here with me.
Yeah, we're here.
We just refreshed ourselves on the first version because it's been a while since we recorded on this.
Like we never left. I mean, we jumped right into it.
We almost fell asleep. You guys ready to listen to that again?
Yeah.
Another version?
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough listen.
You got coffee upstairs?
Right. Brad was yawning. Patrick was yawning a bit. It was a slog, but I've done a lot of work to it and actually really like this now because I think, as season 1 Patrick would say, the song had some good bones.
Yeah. Patrick doesn't say that anymore.
Why'd you lose that?
Well, I think it was the constant ridicule.
Okay.
Well, glad that we haven't let it die yet.
Glad the corrective action.
Yeah. I am teachable.
Yeah.
So after we listened to this
shut up.
initially and decided that I should try and salvage this, when I opened it next, I knew the first thing that I needed to do was
make it longer.
Yeah. It's not any shorter now, but I think it goes by way quicker. I'm hoping you guys will think that. But the first thing I had to do, obviously, was just strip out all the vocals. Mm-hmm. They were not good. Like, the lyrics are like, what is even going on? It's hard to tell what this is about. And that's fair. That stuff all needed to come out. Mm-hmm. And there was lyrics upon lyrics, like of Brad, you had mentioned, like, I think I recorded vocals on that.
I did.
Even though they weren't in the demo version, but they were in the session. There was lots of stuff because we were clearly just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
That was like one of those Friday whatever the hell goes on.
And I was doing this for school. But, it was not great.
You hadn't graduated.
Yeah, exactly.
That degree was not minted.
So that was the first thing. Get rid of all that stuff. And then start listening to the tracks I have left over. There were like some effect tracks, like a big psh sound on the snare, and then some like little blinky tom noises, like beep, beep, dink, dink, off to the side. I just got rid of those. Like, it was like, these aren't really doing anything. And then things started to sound like a little more cohesive. I'm like, okay, now I've got basic tracks. I got the bass, which we decided was cool. Like, I like the bass line of this.
I like the bass line.
The drums to this ended up being really solid once everything was pulled out, and a lot of those weird sound effect noises were really throwing them off because they were not exactly in time.
Yeah, I think I made that comment. There's a couple keyboards that are
in all this, a lot of the synth track stuff, even those little noises that come in, beep, beep, you know, they weren't in time. So I spent some time chopping those up and locking them to the grid. So now when a little sound effect comes in, even though it's a random sound, it comes in time with the song. And that really helped to tighten it up. And then I could tell, like, okay, I've got like a solid bass here. The drums sound really good once I got rid of all the crap on top of them. And then all that was left was the synth tracks, which also I thought sounded really good once I corrected some of their timing. Yeah, because at the time I recorded this, I didn't record them as instrument tracks like we do now, where you
time
record...
signatures hadn't been invented yet.
Right. Well, when we record like
learned about them.
A virtual instrument now, we'll record it to what's called a MIDI track, which is basically little blocks on the screen that represent the notes you're playing on the instrument. And you can really manipulate them very easily to align to the grid you're working on with a song template. But those were just recorded as audio. And when I was playing them, I was clearly out of time. So I had to go in and chop them up a bit and get them in time and lock them more to the drums that were going on. And once all that was done...
Did you know, I believe, in this new Pro Tools you have, you can move into MIDI, I believe.
Oh, yeah. So, listeners, if you listen to our theme song reveal, we got my all the updates I had to do to get up to the new versions of Pro Tools. And yes...
you used to be able to bounce the audio down real fast, but I think you can go backwards.
Now
and
you
can
can
turn
convert
audio
into MIDI, which is really cool.
Video.
And there's a lot of new features.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which would save a lot of time.
And you could do that like drag and drop up to it, and it like converts your audio into a MIDI file. And then you could change the instrument completely.
Right.
Like if you had a piano, you could turn that into a violin, which is really neat to play around with.
Vocals. Turn it into a piano.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, sorry, that was technical.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
no, that's a cool feature. So yeah, did all that, and then this track was sounding really solid. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I was like excited about it again. And I started laying down guitars. This song didn't have any guitars, and I remember you and I trying to play guitars to this. There's 3 songs in this group we're going to be touching on. And I remember us having a lot of troubles.
This was also in the Familiar Things kind of right
kind of era,
which was last season, I believe.
Yep, I think so. But I remember us having difficulties putting guitars to it and liking anything we did. But we must have gotten better because I jumped in here and started playing stuff to it and ended up with some stuff I really like. So I added 8 guitar tracks to this. Obviously wrote all new lyrics and recorded new lyrics. And we've touched on my struggles writing lyrics in past seasons. But I think I told you, Brad, we were at practice one time. I was like, having trouble writing lyrics, but the trouble is I never try to write lyrics. It's most of the trouble, right? They don't just come to me and then I get like pissed like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So my new strategy that I've done for this and the song Dark that I'm sure we already talked about is just sitting here in the studio at night and playing the song and writing lyrics down here instead of like writing while not listening to it or just like I keep a daily writing log.
That's a thing that you tried to do? Like,
like actually write to the song?
You didn't listen to the song while you were writing the lyrics for the song originally?
Sometimes I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing to me.
Well, if I have a song that doesn't have lyrics, because you and I write songs differently.
Yeah, but that's why I'm exploring that a little bit.
If I have a song like I had here that needs lyrics, yes, I will listen to it while I'm writing the lyrics. But oftentimes I will also just write lyrics without having a song.
Yeah.
But this one, I just sat down here, and the music was kind of reminding me of like a Zelda video game.
I was going to ask.
And
if that opening
so
line
the very
Zelda.
first line of this, now once we get into it, I kind of pulled, and I guess we should listen to the song before we talk about that. So let's shelve that. Let's circle back around.
Table that.
Table that
for another Couple minutes.
Do we have a quorum?
Yeah, we all here?
So yeah, I think we're at the point where we should just listen to it because that's all I did was strip out the stuff I didn't like that was conflicting, added guitars, added new vocals, and we'll talk about
Easy
the vocals
peasy.
and stuff. Yeah. So
Blah, blah,
Bing,
blah.
bang, boom.
blee, blee, blow.
Zelda,
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
slap
blah.
a bow on it.
And like I said, this song is the same length, but I think it goes by a lot quicker now. And I guess I'll want to get your opinion on that and see if I still need to cut anything out or if we're good to go.
Let's take a listen.
Let's do it. It's called Bye Now.
Bye now. Bye.
It's called Bye.
Bye now.
Right.
Yes.
It's dangerous to go out alone, but sometimes it takes our failures to grow. The young eyes that let you down are now wide open. Run, 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 run away. It's a slow climb from down so low, but in due time you'll get stronger. You've been patient for escape, and now the wait is over. Run, 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 run away. It's normal to feel ashamed, like you're something broken. But rest assured, your future's safe and wide open. But I know it isn't easy to run, knowing you're gonna really hurt someone. I know it isn't easy to run, but you can't be filled with pain for the rest of your days. I know it isn't easy to run, knowing you're gonna really hurt someone. Don't look back as you wave by. The road ahead is open wide. Don't look back as you wave by. The road ahead is open wide. Patrick, Like you might want to say something.
No, I got nothing. It's fine.
How did that go by?
It's much faster.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention it's actually a little longer because I cut and pasted some in the beginning to give it more of a structure and added like space for that second verse.
Oh, it's scaffolded. It's really, really, really well arranged. I got a lot of notes. Cool. I'm glad you kept the dial tones. I think that's really important for the atmosphere of the song. I was worried those were going to go away kind of with the edits, but it's the main, I guess, subtext of the song that just the story it tells, especially at the end with the wind of like, I'm reaching out. It's a little SOS-y. Everything's empty. I mean, it really gives like a foreboding. I have this sense of aloneness and I'm reaching out, but no one's there. The lyrics are impressive. I think the verses in particular are something I've never heard from you before as far as the timbre and the style you're singing. It's amazing, I think is the word. I gave you a wow with an exclamation mark, like the wow signal. It's a brand new sound for you. And I think, unfortunately, the chorus gets lost in that because you have this incredibly tonal vocal in the verses. And I love what the chorus is doing, but it needs more layers, whether that's more vocal tracks just to build it out a little bit, lift it, give it the gravity that the song needs. And then after the knowing you're really going to hurt somebody, these keys come in and they're fantastic. And the guitar transition is smooth. You go into like this one note kind of walking kind of thing that really grabbed my attention, like whiplashed me back into this.
Okay, cool.
Just dynamic flow of the song. The solo then comes in, which I love, but it's thin in parts. So that just needs a little more to my ear to lift it up. Because this part of the song, when you're saying, I know it isn't easy to run, and then the part where it goes, don't look back as you wave by. I want that like repeated and crescendoing and growing and maybe even repeated more.
Okay.
And then back into that wind sort of dial tone thing. This has potential to be one of your best songs. I mean, long and short of it. It to my ear, it needs a couple more layers and parts. Do not lose those verses. That's beautiful. I'm out.
Brad, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I could.
Patrick, watch out for the enter key.
Oh
there.
God! Delete.
I could dovetail into that, saying I agree. I do agree with the verses that haven't heard you sing that style before, and I think that was maybe like carrying the melody through with different lyrics. Maybe it was like a byproduct where it kind of just created that for you. Hopefully.
I can get into that if we want to right now a little bit.
Really, we don't have time for that.
We can.
Yeah, I'm sure listeners, we're not sure how these episodes are going to play out, but I wasn't thinking this would be the first one, so we may have already talked about a little of this. But the vocals, especially in the verses, and Brad, I kind of mentioned this to you last time we got together and played. This is something I want to do this season, where I'm doing a single vocal,
I don't
as opposed to the doubled vocal.
Yeah,
but I'm also doing much more vocal comping, which means I'm laying down like 10 takes of the same line, and then I listen to each one for the best one and put those together, and you get a much stronger vocal performance, single vocal, because you can hide a lot when you double your vocal. And traditionally, most of the songs I do, I lay down a vocal track, and then I sing the same thing over top of it to layer it and thicken it up. But that allows you to kind of hide some nuance.
Yeah, I do that a ton, and I think you can always sort of tell. And so when you don't do it, there's like a sensitivity to the vocal performance that you don't get when you do the doubling, because doubling, I think, is more about sort of just blending the vocal in with the rest of the track.
It gives you a chorusing effect.
Yeah, and gives you a little bit more of a, like you're focusing on the melody.
Yeah.
This draws you to the lyrics a little bit better.
Yeah, and then the strategy would be then when you double your vocal in the chorus or something, it gives you a little more weight.
And so like I went through and I was like, I underlined, and now the weight is over, like I underlined weight. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool to hear that come through, and then you do it, right? So I underlined it going, I wonder if he's going to do it here, right? And you did it for wide, right? Like the following verse it got bigger. I wouldn't mind that coming in earlier and then the wide one being even bigger. I kept waiting kind of through the song for it to get to that like peak. And you kind of get there with the transition that you were talking about, Patrick, where you change the vocal style and the guitars come in. I kept waiting for that to kind of go like
it needs that.
Yeah, because this song you're doing it's a great build. I really like that. And then all of a sudden, like I kept waiting for like the tingles.
So you think the I know where is it? But I know it's not easy to run. That part is what you want bigger.
I think just I might disagree with myself if I listen to it again a couple times. But
I can tell you what I like ideally wanted there was like a soul female voice singing like
and that's what I think it needs.
It needs that.
I can't do that.
You a dude, bro.
Right.
I think it does need. There's something to focus on there because I think you wanted something else.
I did,
there.
yeah.
I want to get the chills right around that.
Yeah.
And if you'll notice the background,
the rest will carry you through it. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, it's fine because I think we're on the same thing.
Yeah.
I think you guys are probably right. I wanted that soulful voice there, and sometimes you have it in your head like I could do that, and it wasn't working.
Can't execute.
I think I might need to like turn the gain up on the microphone and sing quieter because I can do it.
Yeah.
Like
do a
that.
Billie Eilish.
But when you're singing to it, you try to sing it louder.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I need to try that.
Try a method or two, but I think it's definitely like I want to get to a point there, and I expected you to get me there, and I was like, okay, it's kind of just
But that's the point.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's kind of just maintaining its peak, and then the rest of this carries through. Like the only other thing that I have that's negative in any way is the keyboard part that comes after that. It's still a little wonky for me.
The solo one?
Yeah, like the it's the same one I think from before. Yeah. And to me, like
what if I just doubled that with some guitar?
Yeah, but if it was
or cut it out.
That's you doing it.
Yeah.
And if that's the way you want it, God bless America. It's not like god awful. It's just for me like it's something that I would want to crispen up.
It's a consequence of this song not being very well arranged from the beginning.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, I did some cut and paste to give it a little more structure and verse wise.
You're hanging on
that
to
was something that was kind of left over that, I didn't really know what to do with it. I kind of want to break there and that fit, but it might need a little more work.
Yeah. I think the part's not bad. Like the melody's a cool thing.
You think it's out of time still a little bit?
A little, it's kind of like sloppy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it just could be cleaner.
I can look into that.
I also think it's more noticeable because the vocals are so crisp and quiet.
The melody.
And the
Lettuce.
Yeah. Iceberg. That
honey crisp.
You getting apples? We don't have money for that. Lettuce is like $5 a head.
honey crisps. Crisps.
Honey crisps. Honey crisps are the
sweetest
female.
Of the gangs. The sweetest of all the gangs.
Just, I guess, to back up, Brad, I do think this block here, like this is the terminus of the song, right? Where you start to wind down, that keyboard powers down, the guitar starts to, and then you're just kind of left hanging. It does need something. I really want to hear this repeated a few more times.
I wouldn't mind that.
Behind it.
I do like a couple things I love. Like I love the quiet bye.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was too quiet.
No, like I kept waiting.
I probably would have missed it if
I would have missed it if I didn't see it on here.
Yeah.
For sure. So maybe it
So
might
bring
need
it
a
up a little bit.
But I definitely love
for the listener that right before the solo, I say in the background, "Bye."
Yeah. And you can. I was waiting for that.
Because I wanted it to be like somebody's already.
Have you tried singing it like
right?
"Bye"?
Yeah, and me.
I did a bunch of them.
And me knowing you, like I sort of expected it to be big. You know, I was expecting like "bye," like something like that. I was like, maybe he's gonna do that there. And then I was like, "Bye" in the background. And I love the tone of the guitar solo. I agree that it might need some.
Yeah, the tone's
bells,
great.
Whistles
it just
in the back, like whatever you did on your tone there.
The echo,
good sound. Like you're kind of like. It's kind of like you're fighting with the amp a little bit. Like you're.
So I used my old Dodd flanger pedal, which is kind of broken.
Ed Flanders.
And it kind of sounds like the tone is sucked out of it a bit.
Yeah.
I actually turned the tone down on my guitar too.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted it like that. When I'm recording, I usually always have the tone 10 on the guitar.
Yeah, all the way up.
But I turned this down to about 7.
Like, thicken it up and make it a little.
Just watery, almost like a little.
Yeah.
And
I love it. Like, so that
guitar pedal also, like, it basically has this really, it's broken. It kind of just sounds like this.
Yeah.
But it also does this weird flangey thing.
And it fits the like the song. Like the song's got those kind of sounds. So it's cool.
But you both have mentioned that might need more. Do you think it's because of the tone that's keeping it down? What do you think that it needs then?
It just sounds thin.
And I think it's going to depend on what you end up doing with like these 3 verses and that keyboard and things like that. To have a drop off there might be welcome at that point, right? I think everything's so similar in volume or density. When it drops off a little bit, it sounds like it needs more because you expect it to be bigger.
Right.
Am I communicating that okay?
I don't know. I want to get to the bottom. You like the tone of the guitar
I love
solo.
the guitar part. I don't think you want to like double or triple.
Could we listen to that last part?
Or mess with the solo?
That would help me.
But I think what I'm trying to say is I think if you're going to play around with the stuff prior, right? If you're going to make those bigger or change the keyboard style and make that a bigger thing, a dropout or an emptiness at the guitar solo might not be so bad then, because then you're going to go into an outro. But if it's all sort of in the same vein, then I think it's a little bit weak.
Which is what it is now.
Yes.
So you think the underlying stuff needs to be a little different.
Potentially go up or complement the solo in another way.
Okay.
I think it's what you were saying too somehow.
Yes, I think.
I said it in a really weird... I have it like in my head how I hear it, but I'm having a hard time, I think, explaining it, which is the whole point of the show. So great guy to have on. It's beautiful.
Do you want to listen to from the solo then on and see if we can articulate this better? Because I'm having a hard time as well.
Pull me in a couple verses ahead of the...
I don't
8 bars because it's Brad.
I'm going to do my best here.
I'm sure you know exactly where it is in the wave file.
Perfect. Okay.
Maybe just for that beginning, have something there that brings it up really big, and then you come down to the lead.
Maybe just saying bye a little louder.
Yeah, or something else. Yeah, I don't know.
I almost want that guitar to be just a little crunchier.
Yeah?
Just a little bit. Yeah, me too.
Like I said, like it's kind of like you're fighting with it a little bit, which is kind of it's a frustrated solo, which is kind of where you're at, right? So. Oh, and I didn't notice it coming back in over here.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of repeating that, like syncopating it a little bit with the vocals.
During this part?
No, the don't look back as you wave by part. Maybe it doesn't need more, it just needs like a syncopated vocal under it.
Yeah, because there's not much room for more. I mean, I can cut into the solo, but I like the way the solo...
I like the way it ends, too. I don't know what to do with that. We're kind of maybe at odds about the solo, because I think it does play into it okay, because this gets a little bit bigger than I thought it did in my head on one listen. So I think it's okay. Maybe the beginning of it could use just like a swell of some kind, so that way it's like huge and then drops away.
And that's what the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but maybe it's like, what's the drum situation? They're already on there.
They're going.
Yeah.
So there's the and then there's a slide up to the solo.
Yeah.
I could accentuate that a little more, or even just turn it up so it's.
Or maybe it's just like you do like whatever chord that is, the lowest way you can, and just like bah 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 bah.
So that part you think needs to be better too.
Yeah.
Because I thought that got pretty like it's kind of. Up to that point, it's like it's a little jarring as it is.
Yeah,
but
I think a little
even more,
a little creepier.
Okay,
yeah, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. And also, good the way it is.
So, well, I mean, I'm open to.
I don't think this doesn't have to be a place for critique.
Yeah. Once again, it's your jam.
I'm just telling you things that like I potentially here in addition to what's here.
I think we're on the same page for this middle part where those vocals, I was after something that I didn't quite capture. And you guys are kind of hearing that.
Not, if you listen to anything I said
you pulled
today,
the Brad. You held back.
That would be the main takeaway. Is like you get me really close to like that chill moment.
Yeah,
and I don't quite get all the way there. Like I'm not fully invested.
Okay,
you know. And
then play around a little bit with the solo area, the back half. Maybe even just a delay on the vocals there, just to give you that. Like
that's what I was thinking, like around.
Kind
of thing.
I could play around something like that. That's what this is for. This was a song that was going to get thrown on the trash heap.
Yeah,
and
I feel bad sometimes because it's like we're sitting here and it's like, hey, critique my shit. It's like it's not. Now we're trying to. It's not a critique.
I think we've been doing this long enough to where like
I want everybody to understand.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's like
the goal is to make these the best version we can, and that stuff helps. And I'm definitely open to making some tweaks and us listening to this again.
Yes.
So we talked about the way I recorded the vocals. Oh, back to what I was saying before we even started listening to this about the lyrics and how I thought the music had almost this Zelda-ish quality. So the first line of the song is, "It's dangerous to go out alone." And in the very first Legend of Zelda game, you walk into the little cave and the guy says, "It's dangerous to go out alone. Take this sword." Or, take this. Yeah, so he grabs a sword. And that was where that idea came from, obviously. So that was the very first thing I had. And then as I was sitting down here playing the song, trying to come up with lyrics, the "I know it isn't easy to run" line is what kept popping out to me. And Brad, you know, sometimes you're just looping a section, you start singing a melody, and words started to form.
Yeah.
So I had, "I know it isn't easy to run," and I had "It's dangerous to go out alone" to start the song. Actually, I had the first two lines, but sometimes it takes our failures to grow. Right after that, "It's dangerous to go out alone, but sometimes it takes." So I had that, and then I had it, "I know it isn't easy to run." So I had a point A and a point B. So we're obviously running away from something, and up here, a need to run away from something. So it was kind of like fill in the blanks from that point on. That's how I came up with the theme of, you know, run away and all this. And like, so the basic theme of this is, you know, somebody's in a bad situation, a relationship with somebody, they need to get out. Even though they're going to hurt this person, they're going to leave. They have to take care of themselves. I mean, I don't think it's too cryptic. I'm assuming that's what you guys got out of it.
Pretty much on the nose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we all know people
His
have
name's
gone through
Link,
that.
not Zelda, you idiot.
The game is Zelda. Did I say that?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Wade would never say that. I would say
Yeah, and if he did say it, it'd be edited right out.
So Zelda was holding the sword.
Yeah.
So
beginning of the game.
Before we get out of here, and I will do some revisions on that, let's get a little technical about the mix that I did do. This was originally recorded at a very high sample rate. Typically, when I record, I will set my session up to record at 24 bits, 48 kilohertz. That gives you a good audio quality. Conventional audio that you hear on a compact disc is 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. That's industry standard because of the CD. And it's still used in streaming services and everything just because of that, which we don't really need that to be the standard anymore because CDs aren't really a thing, but that's why it's like that. This session, I was experimenting with higher sample rates, and this session is recorded 24 bits, 96 kilohertz, and that makes the audio files way bigger, but it does give it a crispness and a very clear sound that you notice if you get to know what different sample rates sound like. It's not super noticeable, but I did notice the quality of the audio track. It's very clear because of that. But as a result, it's very taxing on the system because all the files are so big. So storage and all that.
I was going to say, was it around this time you started having computer trouble?
This session really I was having problems with because I also put a tape machine plug-in and a channel strip on every channel just to see like what can I get away with, and I wish I hadn't because then you get into it.
Be pretty cool if I didn't.
But you get into mixing and then you've got the sound and you don't want to take it away because it's all gluing together.
Everything's together.
So I had to do a lot of printing up to this insert type of thing.
There's a reason the Whitman sampler only has 24 different kinds of candy.
Yeah.
So in Pro Tools, you can save the audio up to like whatever plugin you're working on. Like, oh, I like these effects that I've got. just print the audio to this point of effects, and then it frees your system up from having to run those plugins.
Right.
It just saves the audio.
Get all those inactive.
Yeah, so I had a Neve channel strip emulation from Plugin Alliance on every track, which I hadn't tried before. But I was like, oh, I got it. It would be cool. Let me see how this works. Well, it was really hard to get through the session. It kept freezing up.
Not to get into the weeds, but is there a benefit to having that on every track versus just the bus?
Yeah, so what it does is when you put it on every track, it's like you have a vintage recording console. Like that one's modeled after a Neve, which are like, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
They have a certain sound. There's channel strip emulations from all sorts of famous boards, but you only get the real benefits when you lay it out like that. So there's different versions of the plugin. There's a bus version for the bus, and then there's channel versions. So you get all that. That
sort of feeds off each other a little bit.
And the way these plugins are made is they emulate each channel on these boards. Mm-hmm. So every instance is a little different. The way the electronics or the electricity is running through the board, it's all emulated. So they'll take one board and do each channel. So you really do get the harmonic build up of that. Yeah, so that's why you do it. But yeah, it was really taxing on the system. But anyway, most people probably don't care about that, but it was an experiment.
Yeah,
I liked
somebody
it.
Just drove their car into a tree.
It might work better on a session where I don't have such a high sample in bit rate. So we'll maybe try that.
If you don't, though, are you going to lose that nuance?
I don't think most people would notice. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't notice.
Idiot.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do some revisions on this, and then we'll hit it again when we get back from this little trip to the future.
Nice job. Good revision.
Set course.
To the future!
All right, we're back. Here to talk about the song by me. Last time, Patrick and Brad had some suggestions, a couple things to try and tweak. Chad is now here with us, so welcome, Chad.
Hey.
We'll get his thoughts on this as well, since we didn't have him here before. Brad, you had said, and I kind of agreed with you the last time we listened to this, that when the chorus vocals come in, it was lacking a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I had mentioned I was like envisioning like a soulful woman singing, but I just can't.
You got one?
No, I just can't hit that. So
went downtown, picked one up.
Got one.
So, I was trying to like do soft high vocals with the gain up. That was something we talked about. Like maybe I'll try, and that just wasn't like I had already done that.
Wasn't
in
hitting,
the original,
wasn't hitting
and like
the sound you wanted.
Yeah, it doesn't hit. So last night I recorded some new background vocals that were me singing just harder. I couldn't sing the exact same melody as the main vocals, higher and harder. Like my voice just wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah.
So I had to, like do kind of a melody thing in a lower register because the key was too high for me physically to do. So I did that in an attempt to try and elevate that part. And then at the end, the vocals, both you and Patrick had said that you wanted more going on there.
Yeah.
And you wanted almost like a round to happen.
Yeah, he was looking for a round. I was just looking for
row your boat.
Yeah, something thicker.
I actually did that.
You did? Row your boat?
Yeah, I just sang that in the background. No, I tried to do some round style background vocals there. Not like through the whole thing, but you'll hear them. They're panned off to one side. I had to do a lot of readjustment on the panning for the mix in those parts to fit in all these new vocals.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I did was added some modulation and delay effects to the guitar part that comes in right before the solo. Because you had mentioned that you wanted it to just kind of get elevated a little bit there so you knew something big was coming. So an attempt to try and add a little more excitement right before the solo, I did that. Honestly, I don't know if the song's any better or worse because of these changes, so I'm curious to hear what you think, especially Brad having heard it before.
Yeah.
Chad, you won't have the benefit of knowing how it sounded before.
You're just going to give him a list of notes and he'll be on his way.
But if something sounds off in those parts, I'll show you right here. These parts.
Boxed.
Yeah, those and these in the very end vocals.
Yeah, but I know and the don't look back, right?
So those is where I added stuff. So if you're following along with the lyrics and you're like, oh, something sounds off there, That's why. So yeah, definitely want your opinion on whether it's effective. Yeah, that's it. Brad, you had mentioned maybe trying to change up some of the part, like the backing tracks and the keys behind the solo. And the more I listened to it, I didn't know what to do. I liked how it sounded, so I left that alone.
I had a note. Just like the keyboard sounded slow, right? So I'll listen for that. Maybe it might not even bother me this time.
Yeah, there's a rhythm guitar that I tweaked a little bit. That's kind of going, and it's kind of off to one side. I brought that up a tiny bit to try and just give you a sense of a new part happening. So yeah, either this is going to be the finished, because I don't know what else to do with it, or we revert back to what it was before.
Right on.
But we'll see what you say. So let's give it a listen. Dangerous to go out alone, but sometimes it takes our failures to grow. The young eyes that let you down are now wide open. Run, 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 run away. It's a slow climb from down so low, but in due time you'll get stronger. You've been patient for escape, and now the wait is over. Run, 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 run away. It's normal to feel ashamed, like you're something broken. Rest assured, your future's safe and wide open. But I know it isn't easy to run, knowing you're gonna really hurt someone. I know it isn't easy
SOS.
Yeah. So not super huge changes, but what do you think those were effective? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like them. I like the
I kept them back.
yeah, and
like tucked back in the mix.
the added vocals were kind of perfect. I think they got you where it needed to be. They elevated that part,
Good.
right?
Okay.
So and then same thing with the end, like the rounded ones, right? It makes that part a little messy,
Right,
which is
it does.
good, which I like.
Okay, I noticed that when I was
Hearing it for the
working at
first
it.
time,
Like,
like-
you're really gonna have to pay attention to.
Yeah,
the-
but it's not about
hear it.
what they're doing or what they're saying. It's just like it's a whirlwind,
Yeah.
right? Which I think is pretty cool. So
It fit though. It didn't stand out.
yeah,
It didn't-
exactly. It just kind of gives you a feeling, and
Now-
I like that.
Chad, you had heard the initial version of this song, which was the crappy version that
Yeah.
before I stripped it all down.
Yeah,
So this is the first time.
When you were throwing it away.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
trash.
So what are your thoughts on this
No,
new version?
I like it. Everything sounded good. When I saw the Run Run Away chorus, I was wondering if it was a Talking Heads tune, but it wasn't. And no, I liked the round. I thought that was good. There was a little timing thing with the solo. You were almost ahead of the drum beat just a little bit. But otherwise, no, I think it turned out good.
Cool.
I think it sounds good.
I agree. I think it came a long way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's,
no, I actually like it.
It's a
now
really
quite
cool
a bit.
song. Yeah,
No,
and I like
is a
what
good
you're
song.
doing lately with the single vocal.
Yes,
It's like
I'm a fan.
it's very
with the backups.
it's
Yeah.
very raw.
It's more effective, I think.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me like I've been listening to a lot of Thin Lizzy,
Okay.
right?
Oh.
And so like some of their slower songs,
Mhm.
this kind of reminds me of because it's like it's very kind of garagey. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot going on, but like that vocal makes it sort of
It's
less produced.
I send in these mixes, like listeners will know, like started this last year
Yeah.
to the Pure Mix website, and I get feedback from professional mixers. And always get the feedback of like, it sounds pretty like garagey.
Yeah, really.
And there was one of your mixes I sent in. I think it was The Minute I Saw You last season.
Yeah.
And I sent it in, and I usually like you type up a little thing like, this is what I'm looking for. And I was like, this is a song I'm mixing for somebody. He wanted to make sure that I didn't make it too polished sounding. And I told him that I've never been told that my mixes didn't sound like garage rock, so I think we're okay. And the guys thought that was funny. But I don't like the super polished and produced
like
sound for my music.
and it's even more interesting because there's kind of some weird parts, right?
Mhm.
Like there's some weird sounds. Like you've got some big synths kind of going on in this thing, and
Well,
for
yeah.
that to be garagey
Right.
is pretty cool, right? Like it's kind of like space garage.
And I don't think that I would have written this song now. Like this
No,
is
hell
a
no.
product of
Yeah.
many years ago
Yeah,
and an amalgamation of now.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Which I think is really cool because it does bring like a different flavor to my
Yeah.
catalog of stuff. Chad, what do you think? Do you think that's you drumming? I couldn't remember if that's
No,
you or
it's not
Chris.
me.
That's Chris? Okay.
No,
I kind of
Chris
thought
did
that
this one.
I like what you did to those two. Like they're kind of flanged out
a little
a
bit
little
in
bit.
spots.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
nice job, man.
I
That's
think
a good
that
song.
it's wrapped up then because
Yeah.
I'm really
Oh.
happy with it. As long as you think that those, I wasn't sure because I did it just last night. All those extra
yeah,
stuff.
it takes a couple days to digest it.
We've had a couple weeks to get 4 songs done before the season launches here, and I spent every single night basically working on them. And this
Yeah.
was like the last one I was putting off because I had the least to do, and I did it last night. So I was to the point at like midnight last night where I was like, I don't know if it's better because I'd listened to it so much, you know.
Yeah,
I was like, I just got to get the feedback on it.
I think
so.
it's over. I think
Cool.
it's a
that's
good
good.
job, man.
Well, that's a wrap. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, there are 2 other songs from this group of songs that are recorded. And the idea was to, listen to them, see if they're worthy of getting a redo. This one clearly was, and I'm super happy with it. We started an episode on another one, though. I don't know if that one's going to see the light of day. I haven't dove into it to strip all the stuff out to see if but it was so bad. Like, I'm embarrassed to play it. If it does make it to an actual episode, I think the initial play I'm going to edit down a little bit and just be like, okay. But yeah, I'm glad this one worked out.
It worked out really well.
So far, we're 1 for 3.
Yeah, the melody was, again, I don't know, I think I said that earlier in the episode here, but like the vocal melody is really awesome, right? Like those tail end lines where you have like those little climbs, like with the wow.
Yep.
It's pretty
And
sweet.
The part that was really holding this back before was the vocal.
For sure.
And some production stuff where there was a lot of things
Arrangement,
out of time.
it was kinda chaotic, too.
Arrangement, yeah. But it just shows how far I've come, and I think both of us really.
Yeah, for sure.
In writing because of this project and the talking about songs and collaborating and getting them to a point where they need to be.
Yep.
Oh, one of the run thing, Chad, you mentioned. I took that cue from Brad's song Butterflies, where he just says butterflies a million times. Yeah. I was like, if he can do it, I can do it.
Two things I noticed. One is the run, and you guys would have commented on that. The solo's a little long. Right? I think you guys would have told me that. So, F you.
So, you're cool.
Yeah.
This is probably coming out after Veil.
Yeah.
But we're getting ready to record that episode. So, listeners will already know. If you look right there on the bottom, you can see I have queued up
14-minute guitar solo.
Veil long version, Veil short version.
Okay, all right. Well,
because there's a legitimate 30-bar solo in it. I counted.
Good. So we got a radio edit on it already?
Yep.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay. Son of a bitch is cutting my shit.
Listeners already know how that's turned out.
We don't. They do. They know if we're friends still or not.
Listeners, thank you for tuning in today. We're going to get out of here. As always, please check out our website, belongingsongs.com. You can hear this song and hear all the songs from all the seasons up there. You can get a hold of us by sending us a message on the forums page. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Oh, also merch on our website. Feel free to buy some of that. Get some stickers. If you just want stickers, send us a message. Yeah. Send them to you so you can stick them around town for us.
Brad Bots.
Brad Bots.
New Brad Bot sticker last year. Probably get a new sticker or two this season.
Yeah.
I need one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're under here right now. We'll get them afterward. Yo, we should take some. Oh.
No, I mean, I need a sticker.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do a Chad sticker.
No, we'll do a Chad 2 sticker.
That's easy. That's easy.
We're going to get out of here because we are hitting the slopes. We are now skiers.
Yeah.
By the way. So
it's big time.
BSers know that Brad and I and Patrick sometimes play tennis in the summer, but wintertime, we got shit to do.
Yeah.
We ain't got shit to do.
Now.
So now we're skiers. Thanks, Chad. Last year, he threw out the idea, and
it's better in tennis.
We've run with it.
Yeah.
The three of us went a couple weeks ago. Had a good time. We're going to go after we finish up recording here. I was leading somewhere with that, and then I totally forgot.
We were going to put stickers on the lift.
Yeah, we got to take stickers with us to
tag
on the place.
Yeah, I got
tag the lifts.
No, we're going to go down it.
All right.
Testing.
Here we are. We're on a chairlift on a mountain. I've got Brad. I've got Patrick. I've got Shanna.
Hi.
All right.
Patrick, give us your thoughts on Brad's song, Veil. Did you listen to the long and short versions?
I did not listen to the long and short version. We might need to re-record this.
Never mind.
Let's move on to...
Patrick, give us your thoughts on my song, Bye.
So Bye was definitely my favorite track as far as we were just talking before the chairlift. From being a throwaway song to a finished product, it's a pretty incredible achievement. And I listened to it in the car, which I think is a different experience compared to the studio just because...
Was that a gunshot?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
fine.
People shooting bucks. So my car's a 10-speaker setup.
Oh, okay.
Which I think was...
I didn't mix it for 10 speakers.
No, but it was a pretty amazing sound experience. The thing that stuck out that I was talking to you earlier is just how different the solo sounded from when we listened to it. What'd you do with the vocals?
What did I do new since last time? I re-recorded some chorus background vocals to try and give it more.
I heard that.
And then at the end, you and Brad had suggested doing like a round style background vocal, and I did that.
Yeah, I
nailed it.
I thought the vocals sounded a lot more rounded out. That song's just done. I mean, I was really happy with where that stood.
All right. Well, this has been Riding the Slopes with Patrick. All right, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you here again next time. What'd you draw there? Is that a TARDIS?
I don't know.
Or Turdus?
No, this was this.
What is it?
That was a, it's a
is that the box from Hellraiser?
No, man, it's a car, man.
That's a car.
Yeah, we got a guy driving.
Show Patrick that.
It's an old timey car,
okay,
man, on the road.
Would you have guessed that?
No, I don't think
a
so.
Car? Patrick, look at this.
Looks more like a cookie tin.
It's a dumb looking car.
Yeah, it's good. Boom, done. Next.